Hey, my name is Caleb. I'm a local realtor here in Wilmington, North Carolina. I'm going to talk to you about 5 things that I wish that I had known before moving here to Wilmington. First thing I want to talk about is the weather. Summer can still get pretty hot, but it never really gets too cold here. Since I've lived in Wilmington, it has snowed twice. This year was the worst in 25 years. We had, I think, like 6 inches on the road. I loved it because I grew up driving in the snow up in the mountains. But it shut down Wilmington for a few days. That's very, very rare. I'd say hold on to the winter jacket, but you really only need like one cold jacket. Let's talk humidity. Look, it's the South. It's humid. It just is. I'm a sweater too. I literally walk outside and I immediately start sweating. Really starts up in the late spring and into like the early fall. Another little season that I didn't know about and that I'm in love with now is called locals summer. Kind of late September, early October, where school goes back, but the temperature is still warm. All the tourists are back in their regular routines and the locals really have the beach for themselves. It's awesome. Also, hurricane season. Hurricane season starts early June and goes through the end of November. The last few hurricane seasons have been relatively mild. We did have a major hurricane hit this area in 2018. That's Hurricane Florence, and it was the worst in a long time in terms of rainfall. All right, the second thing I really wish I had a better understanding of is the cost of living here in Wilmington. Now, I moved here from Nashville, Tennessee, a much bigger metropolitan city, much bigger population, and quite a bit more expensive. The average single family home price here in Wilmington, New Hanover County is a little bit over $400,000. It's like 416. That's up about 1% from last year. And if you've been following real estate values and trends nationwide, we're pretty much at all-time highs right now all over. But our particular market is quite insulated, given that it is really the best beach access, I think, in my opinion, and the biggest city in North Carolina that is right on the beach or close to the beach. The cost of living here is about 5% lower than the national average. Housing is about 10% more than the national average, 4% higher than the national average on utilities, 7% higher than national average on healthcare. But honestly, in my opinion, again, moving from Nashville, anything that we're doing and paying for seems reasonably priced, especially coming from there. The third thing is kind of the geography, neighborhoods, and areas, and how Wilmington is set up. When I first decided I want to move to Wilmington, I saw a city on the beach, and I kind of thought that it would be like a very, very small version of Miami. I don't know why I thought that. It makes no sense, I know, trust me. But what I didn't really understand is that Wilmington, downtown Wilmington, is not beachy. Downtown is actually on the Cape Fear River. Wilmington and New Hanover County is kind of shaped like an upside down triangle, with downtown being on the Cape Fear River and then Wrightsville Beach being right on the Atlantic Ocean. And then you've got so many neighborhoods and areas on top of that. Pretty much anywhere in Wilmington is going to be 30 minutes from the beach or less. A lot of people I talk to say, I want to be half an hour from the water. Great news, got you covered. That's everywhere. So, what next? There's everything from historic bungalows, craftsman bungalows, downtown historic homes, all the way to brand new, super high-end, modern luxury homes. It's really impossible to cover all that in one video. That is literally what I do and get paid to do. So give me a call and let's set up a call to discuss what neighborhood would work best for you. Number 4 of what I wish I knew before moving here would be kind of the community culture and the vibe of Wilmington. I have come to love downtown and our little skyline, but I will say I thought it was bigger at first. But what I didn't realize is how sprawling and wide Wilmington actually was, and things like it wasn't close to the beach, or that downtown wasn't right on the beach, so they had all this stuff in between and Wrightsville Beach. So it is a lot more spread out than I think other cities are. I grew up in Boone, North Carolina, a true small town where everybody knows everybody. And what I've realized is that the people that grew up here in Wilmington also had that similar experience, and Wilmington has grown at an even crazier pace. So there definitely is a lot of old established relationships and people that know each other here, but there's also a massive, massive influx of people that are moving here. I personally like that smaller town feel where there's enough of everything, but I'm still going to see some familiar faces and build community And I kind of just feel like I'm part of the community more than I did when I was in a big city. And I really, really enjoy that personally. Just fewer younger families than I expected, but they are here. And we have developed a very tight-knit, close group of friends. The fifth and final thing I wish I had known is kind of just a real estate reality check in terms of prices. Again, our prices have nationwide really jumped up in the last 4 or 5 years, but where we're at now is basically, like I shared earlier, the median home price in Wilmington is about $400,000. You're gonna have to spend probably around 350 grand to get a decent 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,500 square feet or more that's in good livable condition. But if you have the money, there's some really nice homes here in Wilmington. You get up over 600 grand or so, and then it just, opportunities are endless. There's incredibly nice neighborhoods. There has been 2 to 3 $10 million plus homes that have traded in New Hanover County in the last couple years. Average homes around 400 to 500. You can really find a lot. And with that also comes flood zones. There are varying levels of flood zones, and basically those are varying levels of risk. So the lowest risk, X flood zone, there's least likely to flood, next most likely to flood, next most likely to flood, and so on and so forth, depending on how close you live to the water, elevation, topographical trends. This is an entire video in and of itself that I could make, but if you're curious specifically, I can pull the flood maps. I can tell you if a home is or isn't in a flood zone. If you buy a house in a flood zone, you will have to carry flood insurance. If you pay for it in cash, you won't have to, but you are highly recommended to have flood insurance on your house. So really my tip for that is just connect with me, a local expert, or the realtor that you're talking to. They should be able to educate you on flood zones, where they are, and all the varying levels of risk and all that stuff. Those are just 5 things that I wish I had known before moving to town. Honestly, after preparing for this video, there are probably 10 to 20 things that I could come up with. If you're looking at the Wilmington area and thinking about a move here, hopefully I can be a resource to you. But drop a comment, let me know, and I hope this video was helpful. I'll see you guys in the next video.